Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome
Gods and
Welcome to Audio Masterclass.
Well, this thing is the thing that took me 2.5 years to get, by the way. This is a
2.5 years.
I backed something on Indiegogo 2.5 years ago,
yes.
and it finally delivered.
And how's the company doing?
I don't care. I got my thing.
That's right. You got your thing out of your deal.
I
That was
got it.
We've all had the Indiegogo teas.
Some more lucky than others.
Hi, Art.
Hi, Greg. Hi, Brian. Welcome
Hi, Art.
everybody to Gods and Monsters, episode number. Greg, help me.
100 and something.
Very good.
Are we
Episode
recording?
Yeah.
something.
Oh, yeah. We've been
I did the little clap, which means we were recording. I'll turn off my little beep there.
smart.
Well, today
You're a
is
professional.
if you're watching today, it is Black Friday today.
Oh, it is Black Friday,
And
isn't it?
Son of a bitch! It was hard to getting in and out of the Mall of Millennia today. I don't know what I was thinking.
Did you go shopping at all?
Not at all. We just went to go see Santa Claus, and that was it.
So your plan to get a PS4 at a good price?
No, actually, matter of fact, I went to the Best Buy Black Friday Best Buy ads that came out like 3 days ago and pre-ordered it.
Oh, good.
So it will be here. I finally am joining.
So wait a minute,
the
they give
PS4.
you Black Friday prices at
Yes.
pre-order, so you don't even have to stand in line. You don't have to do any of that
stand in
garbage.
line. None of that's necessary. So I got the
Okay.
the 1 terabyte PS4 for $199.
That's a good price.
No bells and whistles or no games or anything that come with it. So it was time to join because it's
Do you already have a PS3?
yes, we've
Okay.
had that for years.
So
years,
you're
years,
in
years.
the Sony ecosystem.
Correct.
Okay.
So you can click the little button in the PS3 and you can transfer everything from the 3 to the 4 if you plug it in. So if you keep stuff on there, like the memory of your other games and stuff, which I don't see why you would do that because you can't play games from PS3 on the PS4.
Brian, I can't imagine that you are a participant in the Black Friday holiday shenanigans. You did nothing today? Or did you do
I did no shopping, no.
Good for you. All right.
You were thinking perhaps Brian was
He was probably
sleeping in a tent in front of Best Buy?
No, I would assume that Brian was furiously typing away
Yes.
with a hot, bourbon drink or something
Yes.
in front of him. That's what I assumed. That's what I assume Brian does in all of his spare time.
Frantically typing away at his latest creation.
That's
Yes.
almost exactly my life, except that I write as a side gig and I don't drink alcohol. But otherwise, absolutely on point.
You're missing out.
Yeah,
I am.
terrible.
It is.
Doing a terrible job of introducing everyone. This is Brian Downs, everybody. He's a
That's
regular
who I am.
to the Gods and Monsters podcast. He's been here many times before. The author of such hits as the Berlin Fraternity. Now, if you haven't heard
That's
about the premise of this is a group of kids. They run off to
They find a map
yes.
in an old chest, and
Yes.
they go on an adventure, and they find this
Well,
deformed man.
Yes.
You have to remember, of course, that their dad is behind on his mortgage.
Yes.
Oh, yes, of course.
And
Yeah,
they
yeah.
never say die.
Well, I mean, that gets the whole thing going because they want to save the house. They don't want to have to move.
Mm-hmm.
And then there's a truffle shuffle, and
It had something to do, I thought, also with Nazis joining a college fraternity, and therefore it was called the Berlin Fraternity.
the Carrefour crisis.
Yes. You're mixing up.
Wait, where am I? What am we doing here?
And so one of the reasons we wanted to have Brian here is he's working on a new project right now, but you've also recently decided to dip your toe into the audio book business.
I have, yes.
And
indeed.
tell us a little bit about how that has gone for you.
Well, at this point, I'm still just recording.
Yes, at home, you're on your
yes.
own.
Mhm.
Yes.
I have my new book coming out on December 1st. Will be available online.
Called
Red Sleeper, which is
I knew there was a red something
yes.
in there.
The new book is the second book in the Berlin Fraternity universe. It begins in Detroit in 1956, and the main character is an FBI agent named Christopher Hegwood, whose job it is to hunt Soviet spies, and to his surprise, he'll discover that vampires are real, and that some of the KGB agents he's hunting are undead.
It's a hell of a way to
Interesting.
find that out.
Yeah, I hope so.
So now that you've kind of decided to get into the audiobook thing, are you going to go back and do the audiobooks for all your others?
Well, you see, I was, I'd written Red Sleeper and was getting ready to publish and so on. And some people, to my surprise, had told me that I had a nice voice.
Yes,
Greg
very
had,
deep, nice radio voice. Yes.
It works. Sure.
Greg had mentioned
Better
that
than
I
mine.
Working for
worked
me
with
right
Greg.
now, yes.
And so then I asked some friends of mine, like, would you think I have a nice voice for recording? And they go, yeah. Like, I'm an idiot. It's like, well, no one told me this. Why would I, It's like
Because nobody likes the sound of their own voice, so
Right.
you're probably thinking, well, I'm never going to do
Now,
that.
I have a very interesting question about audiobooks and novelization. I said that wrong. When you do an audiobook of a novel, obviously it's 400, 500, 600 pages, some ridiculous amount of words.
Well, Red Sleeper's about 400 and some pages.
That's a lot. I would never read that. But when you are
perhaps you would
creating an audiobook of that, certainly you don't read every word that you've written, correct?
No, of course I do. That's the definition of creating an audiobook.
Is that right?
Now, I've heard versions of books being unabridged or abridged, and sometimes they're shorter or they cut things out. But this is going to be word for word. Brian's going to sit there in his comfortable chair and flip through the book with the microphone in his hand.
I had always assumed that audiobooks were extremely abridged versions of the books, and that's why so many people listen to them, is because you get the story without the depth of all the description and the prose. I think is prose.
No, I think you're thinking of Wikipedia. The audiobooks are rarely abridged, actually. The reason they're so popular is that you don't have to sit and just read as you have to with a physical book. You can do the dishes or drive or work out.
But clearly you can read faster than somebody speaks it to you, correct?
Well, I've never actually timed it, but probably, yeah.
I would think. I think I can read faster than I can speak. It would just seem like... So for your 400-some page book, are we talking 20 hours of you speaking? 40 hours of you speaking?
I haven't actually worked that out, but probably around 20 hours.
That's crazy amounts of...
But
Yeah.
when you're in your car,
I mean, no, that makes a lot of sense to me because I listen to podcasts when I'm driving long distances. So why wouldn't I listen to an audiobook and get involved or drawn into this world when I'm just driving? It's a heck of a lot better than just staring at the road. Okay. So I'm wrong. Okay. I didn't know.
We're here to learn. We're here
I
to
just
learn.
always assumed that audiobooks were abridged. Okay. I've learned.
And so you've been doing this at home?
Yes. Having been told that I had a nice voice for it, which took me by surprise, I decided to look into it, and I talked to Greg about what was necessary, and I talked to a friend of mine named Brad Tybalt, who's a semi-professional musician and does a lot of recording for that. And they recommended some software. I landed on Adobe Audition, which I found was very user-friendly. And, it's amazing, of course, today, everything is transformed. In any business where what you're dealing in is basically information, as with a written book, as with an audiobook, the bar for getting in is so low. I mean, you're talking about maybe a couple of $100 worth of microphone and the software. And what I did was I put up some sound deadening foam in a closet and put a little table in the closet, and there you go.
Did you give yourself a chair? That's
Yes,
20 hours. That's a lot.
I had a chair
You don't
over
sit for that. Okay.
I find that if I do to get 30 minutes of actual recording done takes about 50 minutes because, of course, you do some retakes and screw-ups, and, a motorcycle goes by and you have to cut that out.
Right.
And then for everything you've recorded, you've got to go back and do, a bit of editing, cutting out long pauses. Like there might be a pause where you stop and, scroll down the page or something like that.
Right, or you're like, what did I write here? I don't understand. And then you gotta pick up from there.
I'm just going to edit this real quickly.
Or you stop and take a drink of water or something. But that's all I found with Audition. That's all very easy to, just mark and delete. And
Have you started doing that, the marking and deleting and editing portion of it, or are you still reading?
Well, I'm doing both. The editing is... the reading, I have to be in the chair, in the closet in my bedroom doing that, whereas I can edit just about anywhere that I can hear.
Sure.
So the editing, I go ahead and get on with that whenever I get a chance.
Oh, excellent.
What do you find the least fun part, I guess? Because I asked you this question because for me personally, I do a lot of YouTube videos, so I do a lot of editing of my stuff. And oh my God, am I boring. So I do a lot of editing of the boring stuff out, and realizing how boring I am when I'm doing a lot of this is just painful, because I'm finally seeing, wow, who is watching this? Why are you watching this? This is awful. So I mean, is the editing portion of hearing your voice and hearing you like stumble over lines 4 times to get to? You probably never do that because, but is there a part of this that you find especially less fun?
Well, I was a bit surprised to find how demanding the actual reading is, and the tiny little details that you don't realize until you try to do it. For example, the other day I sat down having brushed my teeth and used Listerine mouthwash, 15 minutes before, and I found that, to my total surprise, that seriously changed how easy it was for me to read, and it changed the sound of my voice, and it was noticeable in the recording. That I've never gone and given a speech or anything right after using Listerine, but there you are. Or,
Sounds very interesting.
Or eating apples, when apples will leave that certain sensation in your mouth, that kind of sticky sensation. I'm like, okay, first I'm going to eat an apple, and then I'm going to go record, and I'm like, nope, got to wait 20.
So you've become
minutes.
far more aware of the physical things that happen when you speak.
Yes.
Interesting.
Yeah.
All right.
And then also when you read for a while, your voice gets tired, and you can start to hear that. So you can only read for about 20 minutes or so, and then you have to take a break. And,
No kidding.
And go maybe do some editing, or go and do whatever, mow the lawn and come back, because and that's really one of the big issues. You can't simply sit there and I'm going to read for 2 hours, and now I've done 2 hours of recording, because after the first 35 minutes you start to sound like this.
Right. I was curious about that. Are you reading all in one voice, or are you changing your voice based on the characters you're
That
reading?
was going to be my next question as well.
I'm trying to do character voices.
Are you?
Yeah,
Cool.
absolutely. I actually, when I write, one of the things I do is read it aloud, because that's quite a bit different, and very important, I think, for any writing process, is if you just read it silently and then read it aloud, it sounds much different. I think it's much better for the editing process to read it aloud. And when I was doing that with Red Sleeper, one of the characters in Red Sleeper has a German accent, and some characters have Russian accents. And I actually studied how to do accents a little bit.
Oh, very good.
Yeah.
Adding a little bit to it. That's
And
good.
I hope my absolute amateurism will seem charming, because I'm the actual author as opposed to an actor who's totally overshooting the mark.
Now,
or undershooting the mark.
In this process, have you found any surprises? And I guess the question is, you may not have ever read your stories out loud. Have you noticed or have you discovered anything new about your writing that you either like or don't like?
No, I can't say that I have. In writing, as I said, I usually read. I read out loud throughout the writing process, because I just think it produces a better finished product.
See, I never would have thought to do
Yeah,
that.
so you're actually writing almost in the same. You're all set up for audiobook because you already write aloud. I guess if that's the right term.
Yeah,
for
and I've like Red Sleeper, I must have read that thing aloud 3 or 4 times in the course of writing it. And then of course you write something, read it aloud, that you go back and edit it and so on.
That's literally something I never thought that,
Yeah.
that writers would do,
I would
is
never
to read
think that.
aloud their work.
It's not uncommon. I know I saw an interview with John Irving, who the famous writer of The World According to Garp and Cider House Rules and so on, that he reads aloud during the writing process.
Didn't know that happened. Okay.
I've been reading out loud at my little job at school when we write scripts for the news. Good morning, everybody.
Well, that
Welcome
makes
to
sense
Sounds Normal.
because
And
you're
I read it
writing
out
you're
loud.
writing what's intended to be spoken out
Right.
loud.
And I want to make sure what I'm saying makes sense, because you see sometimes an anchor, or I used to see it where I worked behind the scenes, where they would read it out loud at their desk that somebody else had written it, and they'd be like, "No, this is wrong. You're saying this word is here, and it's confusing," and so they'll rewrite it. So to read out loud scripts, in short form for news, I do see that. But to do the way Brian was, I never would have thought of that. That's very interesting to know that that's part of the creative process of putting together and writing a book.
Brian, tell us about the new book.
Yes.
The book that's coming out in December 1st, which will be available on Kindle and Amazon.com.
Oh, that's coming soon then.
That's
okay.
Red Sleeper. And then
And it is a second book in
in the Berlin Fraternity universe. Yeah.
Okay.
And I have started a new one, which doesn't have a title yet. Working title, Family Saga.
also in the same universe.
Yes,
Okay.
that'll be the third book in the Berlin Fraternity universe. That one starts in 1965 and picks up with some of the same characters from Red Sleeper.
And these are not necessarily sequels or continuations of a story. They just happen to be in the same universe.
They're set in the same universe, and they do share some characters, but I make a point of writing them so that they're independent stories, and you don't have to have read Berlin Fraternity, for example, to read
Great.
Red Sleeper.
Okay.
Or you don't have to have read Red Sleeper to read
dear.
the one that follows.
Movie studios like that when you do that, by the way.
We have a special guest that we're gonna have to break into. Your
No, it's always good to have Todd come in and just interject his opinions and his ideas and let us know about the store. And no, please sit.
Todd's here?
Todd's here.
Todd.
Oh God.
Who's
God,
Todd?
Careful.
Who's Todd?
Careful. Hello.
Hi.
Todd
hey.
makes this
And,
all
and if
possible.
you prefer, you can hold that rather than. Just
I would love that.
Hey, there we go.
Welcome to
Hi,
welcome
guys.
to Gods and Monsters,
Hello.
Todd.
How are
Doesn't it
things?
seem silly to say welcome to Gods and Monsters, Todd? That sounds.
He lives here, I
strange.
think.
Thanks.
He's got a cot in the back.
What are we talking about?
They don't let him leave.
Brian's telling us a
you
little
have-
bit about his books, but being
Okay.
that it's Black Friday, it'd be nice to hear from you and see
Sure.
how you did when the doors opened today.
If Todd walks out that door, the
It's-
shock collar goes off.
That's true. It's been pretty steady today, actually.
Excellent.
Which is always nice. I'm sure other places are having a similar day, being Black Friday and all.
I did not even go outside today until late to go to a bar.
I think what usually happens, my personal history with Black Friday, working at in comic retail, is always that the majority of the business comes later in the day because it's like an electronics holiday. Wouldn't you agree?
Yeah.
Where people are going and
Sure,
making
yeah.
the mad dash for the TVs and the game systems and all that, and then like, oh yeah, I could probably get some comics too.
Good
So,
call.
Yeah, How are you guys?
I saw one of your photos. Doing good, thank you. One of your photos on your Facebook page had just a wall of your pop characters, and we all last week and the last 2 weeks we were in the Altamont Mall searching for a Bob Ross pop character.
Oh, sure.
Couldn't find them anywhere.
Bob
Everybody
Ross has a
Bob
pop
Ross
character?
Yeah,
Yeah.
we had a friend who's a really big fan, and Kristen wanted to give it to him as a gift. Couldn't find it everywhere, and then you just casually put a photo up, and like, boom, it's there. It's like
There it is.
all the other stores are saying they're selling
Did you
them
get
out.
it?
They're selling
Did you
out.
grab it?
We did finally find
Excellent.
it somewhere,
Good.
but apparently it's a rare pop.
There's apparently a Bob Ross, and then there's a Bob Ross that comes with a raccoon, like a smaller raccoon figure.
What?
I don't know.
what is that?
I don't know why.
Is there a Deadpool Bob Ross character?
I don't know.
Pop-
Not
pop
yet.
character?
But
Because
I expect there will be.
There better be.
I expect that there will be.
In the future, there will be pop characters of all of us.
That's right.
Oh, wouldn't that be something? With our little
Well,
headsets on.
pretty
Greg, you and
soon
I?
with 3D printing, you're going to
Yeah,
be
you're
able
gonna
to
make
do
your
Oh,
own
yeah.
pop
That's fine.
characters for sure.
There
for
probably already are.
Sure. That's
Yes.
good. So tell us, how's the bar going out in the back
that'll
there?
be-
How's the vault?
Good. Tonight in the vault, we are doing Tipsy Tabletop, hosted by Calvin, formerly known as Jess.
Calvin
And- yeah,
has.
Calvin.
Oh wait, maybe I'm. Who's back there right now?
The blue hair.
Nope. Who's back there right now?
You talking bartending?
Yes.
That would be Talon.
Talon
Oh,
has
Talon and
the
Alita, yes.
coolest. Oh yes, from
Talon and Alita
yeah.
have been on our show many times.
yeah,
yes.
yeah.
A couple of geeks.
That's
Couple of
Talon. Couple of
geeks.
geeks.
Correct.
Yeah.
he has the coolest thing on his head.
Oh, isn't it great?
It's
He wears that every time he bartends too. It's the coolest thing.
It's like LEDs coming out of his eyeballs.
Yeah.
Really?
It's,
Yeah, it's this little headset.
amazing.
It's this tiny little headset that he wears that has like a little successional like four
Tiny little strip of
Yeah,
LEDs.
a little strip of LEDs right in front of his eyes, so it looks like he's got robot eyes.
we
Pretty
met
cool.
him back at the original grand opening
Yep.
2 years ago, and with Alita and Alita's father and dressing up as Doctor Who and all that.
Oh
But
my God! Look at that giant spider up
when
there.
did the,
Lah.
what is that on the white?
Ah.
Huge. They grow them big here.
my
Holy
God.
smokes, I gotta put
That
my
thing
glasses
Is that is
That
that a
thing's gotta
wait,
be-
hold
It's
on.
a dragonfly.
I was gonna say,
Smokes.
is that a spider or a dragonfly?
Okay, it's a dragonfly.
You had
No.
Fine.
you had me at spider.
Okay.
So at what point
That
did
was spider.
Talon, who has been a part of hanging
Sure.
out with us, when did it suddenly become that he's an employee here?
Oh, sure. This was no. He's been bartending for us for a few months now. Yeah,
Wow.
he's- Yeah.
We need to come here more.
Yeah.
That's
Some
our-
of
that's
some
our
of us
fault.
weren't around very
That's
much
our,
these
that's
last
our
few
fault.
months.
This is true. This is true.
No, that's
I
all
know.
right.
I was
You're-
available.
You're doing the Lord's work. Right
We,
now.
we
Todd has spent the last few months searching through the pop inventory looking for
That's
his pop.
That's
Yes.
right.
Bob Ross.
He knows he'll find it.
but that's good. So there's events going on at
That's
the
true.
vault. There's events going on here at the store. Christmas is creeping up on us now. What,
That's right.
What can we expect in the next few
Well,
weeks here from Gods and
let's
Monsters?
see what is coming up. I know that we've got obviously Star Wars is coming.
Oh,
so
that's the thing.
So
That's right.
Oh,
we'll be doing a big.
I haven't heard back yet from management yet about doing our thing in the lobby again, but that
Yeah,
should
there
be
is
coming soon.
New Star Wars movie coming out,
Yeah,
The Last
yes.
Jedi.
Yes.
In a few scant weeks, and so
The
we'll be
Last
doing
Jedi?
Yeah, here's the
last,
thing.
The last one. It's the last Star Wars movie.
that
ever.
Disney. Now that Disney owns the property, I don't think that'll be the Last Jedi.
You don't think
never.
so? You don't think so?
I'm-
That's
I'm
weird
calling,
because.
I'm calling BS.
So you think that the title is a curveball?
Yes.
I'm
You think it is
wondering-
a red flag, not a red
Kinda
flag,
like
but
the-
a red herring.
Kind of like the Phantom Menace wasn't so much of a menace.
Right.
Do we
Yeah.
believe?
And we knew exactly
Yes.
what it was.
Do we
Yes.
believe that the ninth movie, and there certainly will be a ninth movie, do
Sure.
we believe that that will be the end of this particular
I think it's the end of the Skywalker
story?
family, isn't that the idea?
I think that that's probably what will happen. They will wrap up at least those threads with the idea of continuing the Rey storyline.
Because, yeah, well-
they are wrapping that up while establishing Rey and Finn and all the
Right,
all the
but
new characters.
That's my
so
big,
you're asking, will
that's
Rey
my
and
big
Finn
question.
be in other films?
Yes.
I gotta believe.
Well, and Ryan Johnson, who did this newest one, The Last Jedi, the final Star Wars film.
not
He
the
has been brought on to apparently develop and direct a new trilogy,
Yes.
an all new trilogy.
Yes, of
whether
course.
that's with Rey and them or with new characters.
they
or-
said new characters.
New characters. Okay.
but do we end the series of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9? Do we continue and say 10, 11, 12?
Yeah,
and
is
that's
there
what it's
going to be
called,
an
or is
episode
that-
I see.
10?
I would imagine that there will be, but it will probably, but it will
no.
probably focus on Rey and Finn and those guys.
That's fine.
I,
I'm fine with that.
I don't think that they'll end Rey and Finn's in their story with the next
Yeah,
film.
she's young. They could.
Is
keep her
this
for,
the
Yeah.
longest story ever told in cinema?
Your face is the longest story ever told. So.
I think
I'm-
it is.
I'm a
certainly.
horse.
Well,
I
this
mean,
is
the
a good-
franchise
This
is
is a
Certainly.
good question.
40 years old.
Certainly.
Yeah, because
In-
there's
in-
never been
in real years, or you think like Godfather years, where it started way back.
Well,
in,
even
like,
so,
the
because
30s?
it's kind of
No.
real time. Like
No,
they,
no, in real years.
They
Okay,
have
in
they
real
have
years.
they have continued the story with the same actors
Sure.
in
Yep.
real time. Like
Okay.
30 years have
So
passed
from
in-
77
yeah.
to 17.
Although,
Yeah.
Yeah.
well,
That's
none
40
of
years
those,
with the same-
none of the original characters were in the
Oh, that's
first
true.
trilogy.
That's true.
Mm.
Sorry, in the second trilogy, 1, 2, 3.
But-
So none of those characters.
But like Mark Hamill was
Well,
there in 1977,
C-3PO.
and now Mark Hamill is
R2-D2.
there again in 2017.
Well, yeah, it is still essentially the story of the Skywalker family.
Right.
Yes.
So
I see what your question is. It like, has anyone else gone and done what Mark Hamill has done? He's done 40 years of the same character,
Right.
and no one's
Oh,
replaced him. and
I heard something the other day that he was when he was brought in to play the older version of Luke in the last film for that few seconds we got him. He was the same age as Alec Guinness.
No
With him.
kidding.
Isn't that weird?
Man,
Yeah.
Alec
That is
Guinness
weird.
was old for
Yeah.
his young age, and
That's really bizarre because Alec Guinness looked like
Guinness
Guinness
looked old.
looked like he was 70
Yeah, sure.
as Obi-Wan.
Well, I
yeah,
mean,
he lived another
Mark
20 years.
Mark
after
Hamill
77.
looks like
Yeah.
how old is Mark Hamill? 60?
It's 60 something, right?
Yeah,
It's
which is-
63, I think, is the age
Yeah,
that they.
we
it's
aged
touted.
them older back then, didn't
That's
we?
right. Yeah.
It was a harder life.
It was a hard 63.
It was.
Guinness was a hard 63.
But the only thing that maybe rivals Star Wars is some soap operas.
Hmm.
I remember reading a few years ago that there was a woman, and now I can't remember her name, but I'm sure
Susan
you can
Lucci.
Google this. Was that right?
No.
She had served.
Jamie
I
Bobsled.
believe she was on Days of Our Lives,
Mm-hmm.
but she had come on the show as playing someone's teenage daughter,
Yes.
and then they had developed her character, and the show had gone on, and the actress had gotten older, and then the character had gotten married, had children,
Sure.
eventually had grandchildren, and she played the same character
So
on
that's
this soap for
probably
like
an example.
35
That's
years,
wild.
and then died of, and the character kept changing and getting older and having,
Sure.
life milestones, and then
But
eventually
no
the actress
actress
died.
took her place. is
Think
what you're
about
saying.
that though. As an actor,
Yeah.
is that what you really want to
I don't
do?
know.
I don't
You're
think
right.
I
anybody.
play the same character
yeah,
forever.
I don't think
and
any
ever
actor
and ever.
ever wants that ever.
But I don't think you could say that you're really. I mean, that you come in playing someone's 15-year-old daughter, and now you're playing someone's 40-year-old mother. I don't think
Sure.
you can say you're playing the same character. Yet,
Oh, I
mean,
get-
it's the same
I see
person.
what you mean.
Yeah,
Same
but,
person.
but you're doing this. You're working with the same company. You're doing the same job.
Yeah.
I just don't see that.
You're going
because-
down on the same producer.
Unless you were just into acting for the money. and
After
you
all
wanted
this
a
time.
steady
I know.
Too
paycheck.
soon.
Hey, man.
Too soon.
If you just
on a
wanted-
scale of from Spacey to say Cosby, where would you put that?
Which one?
I would put that at
This actress whose name we
at
don't
Franken. I would put that at
We put
Franken.
a bit of Franken.
Yeah.
Okay. So pretty low.
They're pretty low.
Pretty low.
we should put a
So
scale.
like this.
we need a,
right
yeah,
about there.
That's a Franken.
Thank you.
cupping. Perhaps?
Well, no, he went under. He
Yes. I
went, he
did.
went under and behind.
There should be a chart out there now that you've
I
said
think so.
that. From Cosby to from
Cosby to Spacey.
Cosby to Spacey.
Although what's interesting is that we really vilified Cosby, and we didn't know how terrible it got.
Oh
really.
no, we didn't.
Oh yeah.
He was the top of the scale before we had a scale.
He
Yeah.
might still be at the top of the scale. He was
You
taking
think?
it.
He's-
the
well,
the
he's-
drugging and the
yeah.
raping. I mean,
The drugging and the raping.
yeah, he's on a different level.
Allegedly.
Thank you, Brian.
Isn't it
Thank you for
interesting?
bringing it
None
around
of it,
back
none
to
of
where
it
it
has
needs to be.
None of it has been proven.
Isn't
course
it
not.
interesting that we
None of it
all
ever
do
will.
a pretty competent
I think anybody
alleged
can.
rapist
I mean,
impersonation?
But
That's
there
how we
are-
all think of Todd as a very competent alleged rapist.
That's right. That's right.
But there's the bathrobe.
the Weinstein.
The Weinstein that they got in the bathrobe generation now.
Yeah.
But then there's the Cosby that was just the
I'm-
drugging
I'm-
and the raping.
I'm about
allegedly.
I'm about a Lassiter. I think I'm about a
Lassiter.
Lassiter.
Oh,
Yeah, I'm about a
boy.
Lassiter.
That's
Yeah.
a tough one.
That's a tough. I know.
That's a tough one to hear.
I don't even know what he was.
Lassiter, is
what
that-
he was.
is that Game of Thrones?
Accused of.
He's gotten in front of it again too. I think it was
Yeah.
just the inappropriate
yeah.
hugging and
wiener
and
stuff.
Going, no, I don't know if he did. See, that's the thing. I think
Yeah.
Lassiter's going to be down lower. He's not.
Yeah.
I don't think there's any wiener stuff with him. I think his bathrobe was always closed up.
Amateur.
Allegedly.
Are you saying Anthony
Sure,
Weiner
yes,
stuff
yes.
or just Wiener stuff?
I
Do you
mean,
think Cosby looks at these guys that are being accused now?
I heard he can't see.
And go, oh damn.
Yeah, I know.
Do you think he sees these guys getting accused now and go
He's
like,
like,
amateurs?
amateurs.
Yeah, exactly, right.
You gotta drug him first. There's
That's
no
right.
Proof.
That's right.
Allegedly.
That's right. Allegedly.
Wow, we took a turn.
I know.
right.
We sure did.
So
Bring Todd on
I
for a
just wanted
minute
to
and
know
just
how
wait.
I just
How's
wanted
Gods
to
and
know.
Monsters
I
doing?
just wanted to know how the bar was doing, and suddenly you're.
Yeah. Well, what else? What
is
else?
this one of your
happened?
tour buses driving by? That
That
comes
is
in?
that is absolutely my tour bus.
Is that your last one of the
I-
day?
that
It's
is-
super late.
It is. They do at what is it, 11 and 6 usually. But
Okay.
I
It's
think that
after
there's a
8 o'clock,
I
isn't
know.
it?
I was going to say there's usually
it's
a
8
pickup.
o'clock.
There's usually a pickup later on in the day too.
Okay.
So the
So-
tour bus will come twice a day.
Where does it
Yep.
go?
Away. I think
Okay.
I think one of them goes to Miami. I think.
Oh,
Yeah, I know.
wow.
It will take you to Miami.
Holy
So
smokes.
I know.
Direct.
It's crazy.
Direct drive from.
You guys
Gods
heard
and
about Al,
Monsters.
right? Did we talk about Al? Did you get to hear about Al?
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 You know Al.
First, tell me who Al is. And
Al
then
Franken?
You know who Al is? Our my lieutenant, my guy.
No, tell us.
You know
what's
Al?
going on?
Al? No.
No, tell us.
Am I in a different time?
Who are you? What?
Wait, there is no Al.
Al- okay, Al works here with you.
Al,
and
you
Al,
know,
Al recently came forward with
some
an
sexual
an embarrassing
allegations.
admission about Bill
taking
Cosby.
6 months off. He's
Oh,
taking
Bill
6
Cosby.
months off. Yes.
No, he our buddy Al got himself in a motorcycle accident. not too long
Oh,
ago.
I
Yeah.
did see about this on your
You know,
Facebook
my
page. You
guy.
were
He,
trying to
um,
raise some money for his.
That's right. Yeah,
for his recovery.
he poor guy. He 3 cars slammed on their brakes to miss a turtle. And he was coming.
Oh,
he drives
I
a
did hear about
motorcycle,
this.
and he
Goddamn
was
turtle.
he was pulling into their lane and had to swerve, and his leg got caught between the bike and the car, and
Oh, no.
smashed his leg in like 4
Oh,
places. So
jeez.
he's been laid up, and it's so sad. So
Where can
he's
we
so
find
bored.
anything we can find online to help with Al? Do you know of?
Probably.
I believe on the Gods and Monsters page
Well done.
you did
I-
put
yeah,
a,
of course.
Was it like a GoFundMe or something?
No, we did. We did.
Okay,
we
because
did.
if I see that, we'll put it on the crawl that's either above or below,
We
depending
did-
on how I framed the GoPro today.
We did a GoFundMe, and we did. Let's see what else. A few of his friends have dropped off items for us to sell here,
Excellent.
like
That's
statues
good.
and stuff.
Oh, that's good.
So we've made him a couple of grand to help out with the stuff because it's pretty expensive.
Now, Al worked with you here. He also worked at the old store.
He did, yes.
Okay.
You know Al.
What
Yes,
really
now
sucks
I do.
is
Yeah.
this whole motorcycle thing is that anybody who's into motorcycles and motorcycle riding, I think given enough time, you will end up here. You will. A good friend of ours from the fraternity, Mark Frankenfield, apparently recently had
And
a
a motorcycle
motorcycle
accident.
spill.
Really? I didn't
Yes.
hear that. I'm
And
on
he's
Facebook with him.
laid up
Oh,
big time.
jeez.
Man.
You rode a
So-
motorcycle for some time.
Only until I realized how fucking stupid it was.
And it isn't about the quality of the driver of the
You
motorcycle.
can be
it's
the
the
best
idiots all around the
driver.
motorcycle.
You can be the best motorcycle rider
Oh, sure.
on the planet, but
not up
you
to you.
cannot. Yeah, it's not.
Yeah, Al's
you're
been
right,
riding for
it
years.
is not up to you.
Al is a seasoned pro
Yeah.
at this.
Yeah.
Well,
And-
eventually
and
your
yet-
luck runs out.
That's
Yeah,
right.
That's exactly what it is.
So
right.
has he been kind of laid up where he can't come to work right
He,
now?
he hasn't he broke his leg in 4 places, so
Oh.
he's pretty busted up.
We have 40 years of government regulation to make cars safer and safer for
Right.
the occupants inside of a car. We have no government interest in what motorcycles do.
Zero
So
interest.
You are completely exposed. You are on 2 wheels, which clearly doesn't stand up one way or the
Right.
other, and you become road pizza when things don't go well.
True
and
story.
that's just the way it is.
And you're mostly exposed to the idiots around you who usually end up
Well,
causing
you're
your accident.
100% exposed.
Or those freaking random turtles.
So
Yeah.
my advice is, if you really like riding motorcycles, I said that wrong. Get a Miata, because they're just as fun.
Here we go.
They're
Bringing
just
it
as
back-
fun, and
bringing
you're
it back
somewhat
full circle to the Miatas.
somewhat protected.
Now this is alleged, of course, but my understanding is that that Al may have owed the turtle money. And
Well,
so there could be
that-
some kind of underlying
that now makes sense.
sinister.
The turtle mob.
Exact right.
Now
exactly.
other turtles
They're
are
vicious.
Gonna,
Allegedly.
Other
Alleged-
turtles are going to come
alleged turtle.
forward. Hashtag me too.
They
All
will.
these other turtles
Right.
are going to come forward about
That's
Al
right.
and his history. His
They
past.
will.
Al owed me money too.
They will deliver a dead fish in a newspaper. They'll deliver it
that's-
extremely slowly, but it will get to
It
you.
will get to you eventually.
And then Al's going to take 6 months off of Gods and Monsters
That's
and
right.
reevaluate his life.
Well, he's apparently he's just bored to tears. Like he's stuck at the
Can you
house.
imagine
He
if
says
you're
he's
laid
he
up?
says he's watched every movie he owns. and-
Good God, Todd, get the man some comic books.
I told him. I said,
Send him a copy of Red Sleeper.
oh man.
I'll do that. I don't
Anybody
do
here see Brigsby Bear? Tell me you did.
Brigsby Bear.
God, no.
What is that?
Brigsby Bear is.
Is that Freddy's Five
it
Nights at Freddy's?
No, it is a movie produced by Lonely Island.
Okay.
The guys that
I love those guys.
From
Yeah,
Saturday
but
Night Live.
it's Kyle Mooney, and it's just a great little movie. I just saw it the other night. We were actually.
I saw that Kyle Mooney was in a movie. What was it called again? Brigsby Bear?
Brigsby Bear.
Okay,
Yeah, Brigsby
okay.
Bear. But Mark Hamill's in it, and a few
that
few
guy will
Saturday
take
Night
any
Live guys.
paycheck.
And- yeah, it's true. No, it's really good. If anybody, I don't want to ruin what it is, but give it a shot.
Hey, let's
it's
talk
a little
about
fun.
Justice League.
Those Luke
Must
Skywalker
we?
paid. Those Luke Skywalker.
Must we talk about Justice League?
Those Luke Skywalker
Let's.
paydays are few and far between.
Yes,
I mean, the
it's
guy's
true.
got to
He
keep
didn't
a
even
roof over the
speak
house.
in that last
That's true.
movie.
That's a
You
good
know.
point.
They couldn't afford it.
But
Just
yeah,
his
you're right.
just his likeness.
Justice League and Thor, because I saw Brian's comments on Thor.
Brian did
A
not
little
like
too
Thor.
jokey. Is a little too jokey for Brian.
Yeah.
A little too joke.
Everybody other than you loved it.
It's
I
true.
know. I know.
It's long been my firm opinion that everyone other than me is an idiot.
Oh,
Well, that's
wow.
fair.
But it's
Wait,
like
hold
it's-
on. That includes us.
Oh.
Damn it.
But it's Thor.
You're my favorite idiot.
You're my favorite
I
ones.
accept.
But when you grow up, with Thor and it's the hammer and from the
Sure.
gods and come down and then it's just jokey, joke. I can see why that kind of bothers people. But it's owned by Disney now, and Disney's like, no, we've got a formula, and
I
you
don't
need a
even
joke
think
every 5
I
seconds.
don't think it's Disney. I think it's that Marvel understands their audience and they know what works. They want levity and they want fun. And
It
they
seems like they took a page
deliver
out of the Guardians book that they
Yeah.
built
Oh, yeah.
over the last two movies. where-
Guardians of the Galaxy is Marvel's cancer.
Yeah.
It did very well, obviously, and kind of surprised
Sure.
Marvel with how well it did. And
Was that their
it is a comedy. It's made as a comedy from start to finish. Sure. And now Spider-Man: Homecoming is now hitting the comedy really hard, and now Thor. Ragnarok, a 2-hour epic about the prophecy doom of Asgard, is a comedy. Right, and
True
by the way,
story.
it's impossible to maintain. This is why comedies are usually 90 minutes, because it's very hard to be funny for that long.
But Marvel sees what DC is screwing up, and DC is trying to make a darker comic world, and it doesn't work. It
That's true, too.
continually doesn't work, and
That's
they
true,
keep
too.
trying. And for the last movie with Justice League, they tried to be funny, and that didn't really work either because it's
It's
like
the wrong tone.
It is the wrong tone.
Yeah.
It's too much movie. It's too much story to shove into 2 hours. And I believe that the studio was mandated, or the producers mandated on the director, that this movie has to be no more than 2 hours because they realized
This
their
is
mistake.
Justice League?
Yes, they realized their mistake with VES, and they were just like, we are not going to make our audience sit through 2.45 to get this story.
Well, there's another thing to remember, of course, about length is opening weekend is huge for you, right? So, but if there's only so many hours in the day, so if you can get
Of course.
3 showings in the movie
Sure.
in the
Right.
night, then that's simply more
Sure.
tickets. Where if you can only fit in 2 because the movie is so long,
My
then you're
understanding
kicking
is that in
yourself the
Hollywood,
face.
anything over 90 minutes, you as a production are charged more.
Right.
Like you are charged for anything you go over minute wise over 90 minutes.
I did not know
Char-
that.
I believe
charged by
so.
whom?
I don't know.
because of the amount of times
For-
a day
for
you can
why?
watch
For-
the film.
Yeah.
The Motion Picture
It's
Association of America.
It's
Harder to sell,
It's
I'm
interesting.
sure.
If you look at the writing, obviously, a lot of the best writing today is in the series. Okay, Game of Thrones, Daredevil, et cetera, all this terrific writing.
Because you have the distance or the ability to tell a big story.
long-form
Absolutely,
Yeah.
you have the time. Now look at the MCU. The MCU is a television series.
Sure.
They just come out with like 2 installments a year
Yep.
that are 2 hours long.
And they're great.
Right. Some
Shut
of
up,
them are
you.
better and some of them are worse. So that's what they're doing. And now DC is
Brian's
trying to
the
do the
grumpy
same
uncle.
thing.
He is. He doesn't like anything.
I'm loving Punisher.
Yeah.
Huge fan. And now DC is kind of trying to do the same thing, but as you say, they stuff way too many characters in. They make the movie too busy, too frantic. They put in these characters, but you don't really have time to, get to know them or like them or
There's
whatever. Before they
Spider-Man
just-
3.
How well was Aquaman developed in this movie we saw? He didn't get really much time.
Well,
I think Momoa looks terrific. As
Oh,
Aquaman.
absolutely.
Interestingly enough, they spent more time on Aquaman because they know an Aquaman movie is coming in 2019. So they made, and it's the same thing that they did with BVS, is that they were like, oh my gosh, this Gal Gadot woman, she can act her butt off. Let's put more of her in this movie because we have a standalone movie coming out next year or in 18 months or whatever. We need to introduce the audiences to really what this gal can do.
It's weird that
Get it?
little
Wink,
scene
Gal Gadot.
with the little scene with Mira that they shoehorned in seemed really out of place. Like it just seemed kind of for me. Justice League was what did I say online? Big dumb forgettable fun. And and it I tell people get the small popcorn for this one. It's it's I don't know, man. It's first of all the villain I felt was
Weak.
really weak and really like just lackluster. Like I'd like some kind of personality out of my guy other than I will destroy you.
Right.
You know. And
What's your motivation?
But that's
is a-
what
Yeah.
comics are.
well, and
That's what comics have always been.
see now I would like to think that, but there's a lot of compelling
sorry.
villainy in there. And
Silver
that they could-
Silver Age comics. Let's go Silver Age comics.
Sure.
It was always good versus evil, and there was not a bigger, horrible story in the background where
Sure.
you suddenly have some sort of compassion for the villain for how the villain became the villain.
Yeah,
That's more Golden Age,
which
I
is
think.
why Silver Age comics are so boring.
Well, it was.
Well-
I thought it was an interesting choice for them to use Steppenwolf for the villain, which is somebody that unless you're kind of a hardcore comic nerd, you don't know who Steppenwolf is. And they do name drop one time Darkseid in this thing, and it's just kind of
Darkseid was
it's a
from
throwaway
BVS,
line.
right? Wasn't it?
No,
Who was the
no.
villain from Batman v Superman?
But
Batman.
Batman.
Doomsday.
Doomsday,
okay,
yeah,
okay.
kind of.
Well, who was barely,
Yeah,
didn't
kind of
speak
Doomsday.
or have a character or
Nah.
otherwise do anything but smash buildings.
Pretty
Yeah.
much, yeah.
It is a harbinger of doom for any franchise when an installment becomes a joke about the franchise, right? And where it's, hey, we're going to stick this character in and be like, hey, fanboys, it's me. No, it's terrible. It's bad writing and
Well,
nobody likes it.
That's what Marvel did with Spider-Man, though.
Well, yeah,
In Civil War, that was dumb. I think it was dumb to bring him in.
Bring Spider-Man in?
Yeah.
I actually like their treatment of Spider-Man because instead of going back and being like, we're going to do Spider-Man gets bit by a spider again. I mean, we all know that. Okay, fine. Absolutely nobody going to see a Spider-Man movie is like, wait, what happens to this kid? I don't understand. How is he crawling up the wall?
What happened?
Everybody
We've
gets it.
only got like 50 years with this character, right?
So to bring him in and to really emphasize the idea of him being a teenager, and full of energy but bad judgment. And that's Peter Parker's story, by the way, is that he starts out as a high school kid.
Yeah.
With the hot Aunt May.
But, yes, with Aunt May.
Is that Amy Adams?
Yeah.
Or?
No.
20 years from now.
That's
Marissa
Academy
Tomei.
Award winner
What?
Marissa
Yes,
Tomei.
Academy Award winner Marissa Tomei.
I didn't
Yeah.
see the movie.
20 years
She's
from
been
now.
in two of them now.
Homecoming
Yeah,
we're
but
talking
she,
about?
she was also in the one
Yeah,
before
yeah.
that.
She was in Civil War and Homecoming.
Remember
Yeah.
when
I watched Civil
Robert
War.
Downey Jr. comes to the house and he kind
Yeah,
of flirts
and
with her
then
a little bit.
Tony's hitting on her. And,
In Civil War?
Yeah.
I need to watch it again.
Well,
20,
Okay, I'll watch it
20
again.
years from now, Aunt May will have a press conference about Stark Industries.
That's right.
Yeah. Oh, definitely.
So I kind of like that, and they bring him in as comic relief. Comic relief is fine in superhero movies that are about betrayal and friendships tested and all that. Don't make them into comedies. Don't make the whole movie into comedy. Then when they did Homecoming, that's a lot of comedy there, and I felt that they were kind of overdoing it. And then they went absolutely off the edge with Ragnarok.
So Spider-Man in small doses for Civil War worked
Sure.
out
Yeah,
well,
I feel
and
it
it was
did,
a
yeah.
bit much.
I'm gonna bow out.
All right.
I gotta, just like that, huh?
Yeah, just like
He's
that.
gotta do work.
Carry on without me. I gotta go take over for Darian. But great to see you guys doing this again. I love it.
Thank you, Todd.
Talk to you soon. Bye.
Todd Fisher, stop by anytime.
It's me. Hey, it was me.
And just like that,
He's gone. His headset's off.
I turned off.
I
his
hate
headset.
that prick.
what a jerk.
That was Todd Fisher, co-owner of Gods and Monsters. And the business seems to be doing very well. The bar is doing very, very well.
Mm-hmm.
And this is the time of year where people like me stupidly go to the mall, and the kids go to see Santa Claus, and the kids sit on Santa's lap and ask him, what do you want for Christmas? I think here at Gods and Monsters, people should go to the vault and be able to sit with Jen and tell Jen what they want for Christmas.
Do you know they have on the bar top of the Vault 4521, they have a Christmas tree made out of PBR cans.
Oh, really?
They do.
I have got to go see that.
That is only appropriate.
What was it you said you saw on the floor? Was it you who said you saw something on the floor?
I saw the picture from Terminator.
Terminator. That's what it was. The Polaroid picture from Terminator is on
half
the floor.
burned.
Like,
It's
half
half
burned on
burned.
the floor.
That's a nice touch.
Well
awesome.
done,
That's a
Gods
beautiful
and
touch.
Monsters. Well done.
Yes,
So if you-
also Jen B, like the famous bartender here
Yes.
at the Vault, will have Art killed for that suggestion he just made that you should come in.
No. She wants people to come to the bar and talk to her, right?
She posts pictures on her Facebook of all the cosplay stuff that she dresses up as.
She's no.
to
She's
serve
not
you.
a cosplayer.
She is a what?
I've had this
She
conversation
is those characters.
with Ms. Bielek, and she tells me she's not a cosplayer.
And
That's just-
then she dresses up
It's just
as
for-
these people because
It's just for her job.
That's just Jen.
She wants to make that clear.
Oh, that's
And
just Jen.
I don't think she wants to hear what anybody wants for Christmas. That's I may be wrong.
I can't sit on her lap. Is that what you're saying to me?
I never interfere with consenting adults. That's between you and
All
her.
right. Well, you know what? If you come down to Vault 5421 and see Jen, chances are she is
In a costume.
in a costume.
We can't
She is
say.
dressed as something amazing. And
Right.
the last one I saw her post on her Facebook, she had made herself completely white with something on her. I don't know. I don't even know what she was, but she looked amazing.
She did a terrific Lobo just a few days ago, as I recall. Lobo, the character from DC Comics, Lobo the bounty hunter.
So once in a
which
while, she
was
will dress up as a
white
character.
face and yeah.
But
Yes.
for the
But
most part,
she does not cosplay.
Jen usually dresses.
It's
as
for
Jen.
her job.
Oh my gosh, she's always looking great.
Yes, yes. You can find her here most nights here at Gods and Monsters at Vault 5421.
Yeah. Come down, have a beer.
Yeah, and speaking of have a beer, Greg, what are you drinking this evening? What were you drinking?
This was I drank it already.
This looks different to me.
It's Innocent Gun bourbon aged dark ale. It's I don't know.
Bourbon aged dark ale.
Yeah, I go for the porters and the stouts, but this was just a dark ale, and it was pretty good. Yeah, it was very good actually. So that's it.
Excellent. So we have any other topics we should be touching on? I know, of course, like Todd said, Star Wars is coming up. We hope to be doing a podcast live from the lobby of the Point Orlando Theater on December, I want to say 14th or 15th, because it's close to midnight, so it could be either one of those days, like we did 2 years ago, which I think was a big success.
The last time we spoke, we were kind of in the middle. We were kind of in the middle of Stranger Things second season.
Yes,
You
which I haven't
finished?
seen yet.
You have
I
not
haven't even
finished
started
it.
season 2. No. I told myself I wanted to rewatch season 1 again.
Oh.
But was it you who told me there's a good recap, and maybe you don't have to do that.
No, go ahead and do it.
Good, because I was hoping to do that over Thanksgiving break, but I've been doing something different every day, and I haven't had a chance.
Yeah, you certainly won't get the amazement and the wonder out of watching it a second time, but you'll.
I'll probably remember things that I forgot because I
Sure.
binge watched it. Watched it all at once over a 3-day
There
period.
he is. Look at him. You'll be.
Outstanding.
Can we have him come in for a minute?
Do you have
you
a
want to come
moment?
in for a minute?
Are you working the bar right now?
He has a very short amount of time. Very short. So come in and just speak with us for a minute. You don't even have to wear the headphones if you don't want. We just want to get you on the camera of this amazing. Oh, it's all messed
excellent.
up. There you
Yeah,
go.
I'm all weird
There
if
you
I
go.
sit
Yeah,
down
you-
sideways. There we go.
Can't sit down
Hold on.
sideways.
This is
There we go.
The outfit
him.
is
How cool.
excellent.
So at Vault 5421, anytime you come here and have a drink with the bartender, they're always dressed interestingly.
Yes, they are themed out.
So my theme is I ripped these eyes out of my father's cold dead head
Oh, very
in the
Fantastic.
wastelands. And
Fantastic.
I'm well prepared. I'm a little bit weathered.
Your
but,
father's a Keurig machine.
Oh, yeah. Absolutely. I'm well equipped to sling up some refreshing beverages after you've come in from a nice couple days of, wandering and stealing cars.
Looting and pillaging.
Yeah, looting and pillaging. Yeah.
At Universal.
Fantastic.
So you've probably seen a couple of interesting events here as bartender. Anything that stands out in your mind that
Absolutely,
you've seen recently?
Yeah. I was here for. Gods and Monsters private event where one of close friends of Todd and Anna came in with a gallon of McDonald's Mulan Szechuan
Get
sauce.
out of here.
And I was asked to actually come up with a couple of shots for it. And we did a tequila and peach shot that I called the Unity.
What?
And a rum and blue curacao and cherry shot called the Kalax.
Excellent. Did
Oh
you
my
go through
God.
the gallon? Was it gone by the end of the evening?
No, actually, we did the math and we found out that the half-ounce little tiny paper cups that we were getting like a little bit of sauce in, each one of those was worth $50 if you based it off of what Deadmau5 spent on a gallon.
Wow.
Oh my God. Okay, so quick question here. Did you actually get some McNuggets
Yes.
and then dip them in this very rare Szechuan sauce?
Yes.
And was it worth it?
Absolutely not.
Oh.
I'm kidding. It was good. It was good. It honestly tasted like McDonald's sweet and sour sauce, and that was
With-
what I was expecting
mixed
it to
with
taste
barbecue?
like. But actually with a good teriyaki to it.
Oh.
It
okay.
honestly, if you basted the McNuggets and like stir fried them in this sauce, it would be great. But like dipping it into him was kind of weird. It was a more bitter, more like soy-ish sauce, like a traditional teriyaki, which I was surprised about.
Interesting.
Did
Yeah.
you say this was a private party?
Yes.
Have you seen a lot of private parties here at Gods and Monsters since you've started bartending?
You know what? I've seen a few private
NDA,
parties,
NDA,
but
NDA.
we do have every Friday night. We have Tipsy Tabletop with Jess, which is going on right now. Actually, Jess is in there playing Doctor Who Flux.
Which is a common thing on Friday nights if
Can
people
I-
want
Yes,
to come
it
down
is.
here. Yes.
Can I rent this place out?
I guess
I
you
believe
could.
that you can. Yeah.
That would be an amazing
Absolutely.
photo party.
If
Bring,
you guys
bring all
wanna,
of your friends who you've
Friends?
taken photos of.
Sure.
That's not a bad idea.
That's an
and if you
interesting
come in
idea.
and cosplay, you get discounts on drinks in the
You'd
bar.
be busy that night, but I would certainly podcast that.
Okay.
Absolutely. Well, I think that's about all the time I've got for you guys. But thanks for having me over here
Excellent.
real
Get
quick.
back
stop
to
by
the bar and
anytime, that's
slinging
right.
drinks.
Get back to slinging drinks. All
Thank
right.
you so much
Thanks,
for
Art,
spending
Greg,
time with
Brian.
us.
Thank you. That's your local bartender Talon here from Gods and Monsters at From 5421. You can find him here most nights with weird things in his eyes.
All right, so I feel bad that for the last 40 minutes we have ignored Brian and why he's here. So let's get back to
Please.
Let's get back to Red
Sleeper.
Sleeper. Damn it! I knew it. It was Red. So you finished this. You finished that book when?
Oh, I don't recall exactly. Not too long ago because I've just been finishing the publication process.
Yeah, that's kind of where I'm going with this. Is that you didn't even slow down after you finished writing that book. You went right into the next book,
Yes.
which is currently untitled.
Yes. Yeah.
Okay. But also, you obviously have more story to tell from that universe because this is a third book from that universe. Are you currently working on anything else from different storylines, different universes?
No, I've limited time.
Good.
I'd love to have the sheer genius necessary to be writing 2 novels at once, but
Stay focused on
Because
the
I think
one.
But I don't.
we spoke before about that you may have been writing 2 different books at the same time.
Oh yeah, well, whenever you get close to finishing a book you're working on, you always have an idea for a new book, and then start writing, notes and so on. And I had an idea for a book set in Mexico, set in the Berlin Fraternity universe, but then I had a better idea. And the Mexico project might happen in some point
Hey,
in the
ideas
future. It
come
might
and
not.
go. You got to write a little of it
Sure.
down while you've got it in your
Yeah.
the top of your head. That's good.
And you also participate in a YouTube channel
I
that
do.
I am also involved with, and that is called Scribbler's Rest.
That's correct.
And tell us a little bit about that real quickly.
Which is
Scribblers-
recorded right here, by the way. Sometimes, isn't
sometimes it
There
is,
We go,
yes.
yes.
Well, I'll find-
Hey,
Hello.
that's Anna.
the
other co-owner.
Yeah,
Yes.
the other.
Of
I
Gods and
just totally
Monsters.
forgotten her last name.
Very-
Stone, right? Anna Stone.
Fisher now. I
It's Fisher.
suppose.
Fisher, my bad. Of course. There you are.
They're
Anna
married.
Fisher.
Yes.
Yes. The other half of
That
the
wedding can be
ownership
found
team.
on their Facebook page, by the way, if you're ever interested in seeing the ceremony. It was one of the last
It
few things
was-
we did here before the announcement came on that the mall was going to be closed.
Not here. We did it at Artigan.
Yes, at the Artigan.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Of
Continue,
which we will
please.
not speak.
Yes.
What was the question? Oh,
Scribbler's Rest.
Scribbler's Rest, yes. I'm part of a YouTube channel where Central Florida creatives, artists, writers, Genki Got Studios often play with us, the animators and illustrators, get together and play board games, role-playing games. We've played Pathfinder and Shadowrun. And then we put it on YouTube in 20-minute bites. And Greg is our production man.
What is the game that you often game master for?
Shadowrun. That's
Shadowrun, yes. I will say that those are probably some of the funniest episodes.
Thank you.
Because you are inappropriate.
Oh,
Inappropriate.
Inappropriate.
What do I do that's
I
inappropriate?
believe that one of your quests was to deliver a vibrator to someone.
It wasn't deliver a vibrator. It was to beat a teenager unconscious with a vibrator.
There you go. Okay,
Yes.
well, there.
Spoiler alert.
Because to use it for the purposes it's meant for, that's inappropriate. If
I
you're going to beat
understand.
somebody with it, hey,
I
man,
understand.
Things happen.
It was large.
What purpose is it meant for, Art?
Anyway, I will
That's
say
a separate podcast.
I will say that those are the adventures that I enjoy the most because they're ridiculous.
Well, thank you, Greg.
Sure.
I try not to go all the way to comedy, but just comic relief. Although,
Well, it's
Yeah.
a testament to your storytelling abilities, and obviously your writing and your style and everything comes into that Shadowrun gameplay. So that's a good indication that your books are probably as entertaining.
I hope so. Of course, game mastering is the major difference is that the players have
It's
do
fluid.
things.
Sure,
Yeah,
it's fluid.
So you're working with them too, and it's quite a challenging endeavor, and I've enjoyed it for many years.
And some of the,
I'm glad you find listening to it so gratifying.
some of the characters from Geeky Goth, I haven't seen them in a while. They've been on our show before, I think, way in the beginning. But I'm just curious, what's the update on them? Do they have a location somewhere? Do they have a store?
Well, they had a storefront in the tragic and now past in history Artigan, but of course that shut down. So
But I thought they had actually moved out before the announcement was made.
No,
Like-
no, they were.
They were till the end, but
Okay, they were till the end.
I believe they're doing more
They're going to
local shows.
they're going to the
and-
cons and
Yeah, well, they keep very busy traveling on the con
Oh, yeah.
circuit
Okay.
in Florida and around the country. And I understand they converted part of their home. You know, they're a married couple, of course, DJ and
okay,
Mary.
I see.
And they converted part of their home to a what am I trying to say, studio. So
I see.
because it really makes more sense for them to push their sales at shows and of course online.
And not spend money on more rent.
Sure.
Things like
Yeah.
that when they can do that. Okay, that's very good. So you see them periodically on your show and
In fact, Miriam Medina of Yankee God Studios is the artist who did the cover art
That's right.
for Red Sleeper.
oh, the new book. Okay.
Yeah.
Very good. Has she done other of the other books as well?
No, that's her
This
first
is her
one.
first. This is her first one. Greg, can you think of any other questions? I know we're hitting. What are we at? We're at the 55 mark, which
We
means,
are wrapping this
wow,
up.
we're hitting close to the hour.
You know, someone, I think it's Lionsgate, bought the rights to Dune, the movie rights and television rights.
I did hear about that because I keep seeing pictures popping up from David Lynch's Dune saying new Dune is coming, which has nothing to do with
Please
David
don't
Lynch.
do
or-
it. Please
yeah.
don't do that.
We've had him. We've had the David Lynch movie. We've had the miniseries, which came out on the Sci-Fi Channel
Which was
20 years ago,
Terrible.
and then there was something that came out after that, wasn't there? And now this is going to be the fourth different version of Dune.
Look, can you not just change enough about these story pieces and make your own film? I mean, maybe that's the problem. Maybe things are too similar, and then lawyers get involved, and they're just like, "Hey, wait a second, that sounds like Dune. You can't do that." It just seems like, okay, so let's remake something.
Well, I think it's
because
the movie-
there's a built-in audience.
The
And
movie
then
studios
it's
want
terrible.
built-in audiences these days. They don't want to
Well,
have to teach somebody about
we-
a whole new series of movies.
We love reboots. We're wired for reboots. Look at religion. Look at mythology. Look at how often we've seen Zeus come back, or even including, by the way, his comic book characters. you know.
Okay.
We just love it.
But that just makes audiences not interested in anything that they're not familiar with. Like you can write an amazingly unique story, and you can put $90 million behind it in a production, and you can throw it out there, and it's going to make $14 million because nobody knows what it is. They're not familiar enough with it. They don't want to go spend their $18 to go see it.
Didn't that happen with I want to say Convergence or something that was like a knockoff of the Hunger Games that came out, and they tried to make a trilogy of movies, but by the second
Oh,
one, which it bombed.
I think Maze Runner. Maybe you're thinking.
Yes, perhaps that was it.
No, it
No,
was something else.
not
Something world.
Convergence.
Something world. Atlas. Shoot, I think I know what you're talking
But
about.
sometimes
But that bombed.
It
It
bombed.
bombed.
Yeah.
There's almost nothing new under the sun. I mean, there's so many people writing.
No,
books,
I
making
get that.
movies,
I
so-
agree. Sure.
And the challenge of the narrative arts, whether it's movies or books or whatever, is to do the same thing over again but better, and make people feel like it's new. But you know, I mean, how many romances have there been? And those are all, you know, X meets Y and live happily ever after, basically.
No, you're right, and I'm just so frustrated with Hollywood is they.
Nothing's original anymore.
It's not that it's just not original. It's that it's like, okay, Transformer movies are terrible.
Ugh.
We know Transformer movies are terrible, but they keep making $800 billion.
It's our own fault because we keep going to see them. I haven't seen them, but I'm saying we as everybody.
I haven't seen the latest one either. I'll watch it if it comes on free to Netflix or whatever.
But they're going to continue to make these DC movies no matter how bad the critics hate it and how much money it does or doesn't make. I heard it didn't make a lot of money,
Look
did
how,
they?
what was it, Universal, who absolutely put their foot in it with The Mummy.
Oh,
I mean,
God.
they wanted,
Yeah, they've killed that universe, extended universe.
Did they kill it?
Yep, it's not happening now.
Oh, not at all?
Nope, they're done.
Oh.
That's too bad, because that's, I mean, those characters, you know, Bride of Frankenstein, the Boris Karloff Frankenstein, that those images pop up every Halloween.
Yep.
I mean, there's something to be done there.
There is, but audiences maybe just aren't interested. It started with Wolfman with
Benicio
del Toro.
Yeah.
I thought that was all right. I kind of like that.
A lot of people didn't agree with you.
That's true.
So yeah, it's just that
Maybe it was too soon for the Mummy because we just had a trilogy in the past 10, 15 years of Mummy that they're just going to reboot.
Well, it was also
you know what?
terrible.
Here's what's interesting. When you go to a movie, it's $11 or $14 or however much it is for any movie. You can't go to the movie theater and go see a $12 million production. You can't go there for $250 and see that movie. Why not? Why? You have to pay the same $12 that you would see the $190 million Shrek 9 movie or MCU movie. But for the movie that was just produced for $14 million, it's still $14.
Right.
Why? Why
question.
can't it be less? Because if I make a very bare bones movie and I just want people to see it, it's far more attractive if it was offered to other people for $3.
Greg, come on, dude. I mean, because when you go to the movie theater had to build a building, has to keep the lights on, has to pay the usher, and none of those costs are the slightest bit affected by whether the movie cost $10 million to make or $200 million to make.
Well, there is a solution.
That's
though.
true.
The solution is your movie goes straight to Netflix.
Yeah.
People have been predicting the end of the movie theater literally
Forever.
since television.
Sure. You're right.
Hit in like
You're
the
right.
mid
Absolutely
1950s.
right.
When HBO came out, they were like, "Oh no, you're going to watch movies at home on TV."
Which is how interesting would that be if movie studios could set the movie prices instead of the movie theaters setting the prices?
But well, again, a lot of that ticket price is because it costs what it costs to pay a 17-year-old to run a popcorn machine.
Well, I get that. Well,
Yeah.
then let's say to the movie theaters, you get $5 of every ticket. So we're charging you $250 to show this not so great movie, or this less movie, or we're charging you $10 to show the latest DC Universe movie. So they charge 15 or 7. It just depends, on whatever. I think that, I don't know. I'm just thinking of a way for more people to see more movies, because I believe there's lots of great movies that should be seen that just aren't.
That's called Netflix.
I feel like that.
Have you been on Netflix lately? It's hard to find
Well, it's
stuff.
interesting.
It reminds me of the 80s. Watching movies in the 80s on HBO. It's like, look at all, and you look through the HBO book that come out. It's
Yeah.
like, what are all these crap movies? It's the same thing now with Netflix. Like, what are all these crap movies
this
I've
is
never heard
fascinating
of?
to me. I still have Netflix send me the discs.
Oh, do you?
Absolutely.
Why?
Why? First of all, I can get the Blu-ray disc and I can get the best picture from my
True.
Blu-ray.
But they
my
already show it in 4K if you
and-
have the right stuff.
And they have a vastly larger library. on
Larger
the
than
disc.
what's
That's
online.
true.
That's
Yeah.
true.
That is true.
You know why? Because exactly what Art said. You go over to somebody's house, like, let's turn on some Netflix, and you spend 15 minutes going,
There's
Garbage,
nothing
garbage,
on
garbage.
here.
I don't want,
Garbage,
but,
yeah.
or something I've seen 10 times already. Now they do some great stuff. I just saw a drama, The Last Living Boy in New York. Amazing on Netflix.
Okay.
Not a nerd thing, but tremendous.
Like a Netflix exclusive?
Yeah, they made it. It was one of their. It has Kate Beckinsale in it. And,
See, and this is the stuff that people need to know. Like I believe I think it's on Hulu. Maybe not. It's What We Do in the Shadows or something like that. Have you heard of this?
Yeah, I think that was.
It's
Netflix
like a
original.
mockumentary about vampires.
Yeah, and
apparently
it's
it's amazing, and I see it there,
It's
and
quite funny.
I've been told 8, 12 times you got to watch this, and every time I see it on my whatever, I'm like,
To-do list.
I'm not really in the mood.
Right.
It's from that comedic team who did the Flight of the Conchords guys.
Oh, I love their music.
Yeah.
That's they have very funny music.
It's interesting the way the ecosystem works, because as you point out, the multiplex is really well suited for giant 200 million Transformers,
Sure.
giant tentpole action
Meant to be
films.
seen in the theater.
Right. Whereas, but then because the technology gets cheaper and cameras get cheaper and all that, you can do a drama that's set in people's patios and kitchens.
The Florida Project.
Right.
Yeah.
Which
for,
is something I'd like to see.
nickels and dimes, and then get that on Netflix or otherwise distribute that online. And there's tremendous opportunity for all sorts of daring and innovative and independent stuff to happen that way, but it's just not happening in the multiplex because the multiplex is full of
$100
Justice
million
League.
movies. Yeah.
Comic book movies. That's something for you all to think about.
I just
Do it
saw
next time.
I saw Dr. Marston and the Wonder Woman in the theater, surprisingly enough.
I saw the trailer for that.
Yeah, terrific film.
Did
That should be a nice box set with Wonder Woman, in it, but it's not.
did
from the same
that
company.
Doctor whatever movie from the Marvel universe? Did that do well?
Doctor Strange?
Doctor Strange?
Yeah, it did very well.
Did it?
Yeah,
Okay.
Did well with this, and he appeared in the most recent movie.
Oh,
And,
I didn't know.
Ragnarok. Yeah.
Briefly.
Okay. All right. Let's wrap it up.
We're wrapping up, so we
right.
want to ask Brian again, of course, where we can find you online.
You can search for me on Amazon.com, BrianDownes,
And you can find all of your novels there.
on Amazon and on the Kindle.
And the latest book is coming out.
It'll be available online on December 1st if all goes according to plan.
Ooh, that's next
All right.
week.
It
That's
is.
next week,
And
so-
then on January 19th, I'll be having a reading and a signing at the Henao Contemporary Center. That's HENAO Contemporary Center.
Where's that?
It's here in Orlando. I believe it's kind of on the east side.
Interesting.
Great art space. They have a art gallery there. They display paintings, sculpture, all that. And in
Cool.
the back, they have a little performance space for the stage. They do poetry readings. They do open mic nights. A terrific place. If you haven't been to the Henao, you should check it out.
I know. Interesting. I'd never heard of them
And
before.
on January 19th, I'll have a signing
is
and
there
a reading
slam
there.
poetry?
Very likely, yes.
Okay.
I'm sure there is.
All right.
January
Very
19th, you said?
Yes. At
Excellent.
The Henao.
And Greg, where can we find you online?
Oh, you can find me on YouTube/Good Egg Pro, YouTube/Models and Movies. That's it.
And perhaps in the near future, models and movies right here at a private party at Vault
Perhaps.
5421.
I mean,
Let's
that
think
would be
about that.
That would be super
That'd
cool.
be- everyone who's
to
ever
watch
been
it-
on your models and movie show, everyone that's ever been
to
your
watch
house,
the
to photo
room, to
shoot,
watch the room back in Vault 5421,
Yes.
and then immediately do a.
Disaster Artist.
and just nothing but the ladies here.
No,
that
I'm definitely
night.
gonna watch that movie, but yeah,
That is the strangest project to me.
That trailer looks so good, though.
We've done a
amazing.
Yeah. Wow. I don't know.
Have you seen the room?
No. I
recommend
it. When people tell me movies are horrible, I avoid them.
Oh wait, you don't drink.
Yes, that's true. That's
So you don't wanna
probably
see
the
this
problem.
movie.
Makes me. I suppose it would make
Yeah.
me feel better about my own creative talents.
No, because this guy I mean, if you watch The Disaster Artist, this guy really
This guy
tried.
was confidently bad.
He was passionately
Yes,
bad.
Yes.
He knew what he was doing
Which makes
was
it-
amazing.
Which makes it fantastic.
Yeah, and that's what makes it awesome.
Yeah.
It's an extraordinary story. I think maybe I should pay more attention to it.
All right. There's our little promotion for The Room. Actually, that's not the name
The
of the movie.
Disaster
The
Artist.
Disaster Artist. The Room is the actual. I think he showed up at the premiere also, and I don't want him to
Yeah.
be. I want him to be not in on the joke. You know.
No, he
I want-
was full in. They needed his permission to do
Which
the
means
movie.
he got paid.
Which
I don't.
one of the provisions was he needed a part in the movie, but not as Tommy
not
Wiseau.
as himself. No,
he
no.
needed to be somebody
That's Franco.
else.
James
Yeah.
Franco did that.
Yep.
Excellent.
Does
All
he
right.
play his own father?
No.
No.
That would have been awesome.
All right, we're past the 1 hour mark. So this is
Sorry.
Gods and Monsters. Look for us hopefully again before the Star Wars live show.
But definitely for the live show.
But for the live show, catch us in the lobby of the Point Orlando Theater. If the manager calls me back, haven't heard back from him yet. So
and
I
if
will
not,
let you
we're
know.
just going to do it anyway.
We'll just do it anyway. We'll just show up. That's all for now. Thanks for watching, everyone. Thank you, Brian, for coming over here. Greg, always good to see you again.
Thank you.
See us again here soon. Gods and Monsters. Thank you.
Thank you.